Hi, this is my 24th video. First, I want to thank anybody who's been watching my videos. I hope my video have been insightful, um, relatable, and at least easy to understand. I know it's complicated to talk about something that is, that's kind of, you know, sounds like sci-fi, sci fiction. Um, but you know the goal of making those videos is one to kind of talk about my targeting my targeting and make any contribution I can to tell a story. I hope the story is I hope others can relate to this story, but God forbid something happened to me. um I just before that happens, or if something does happen, who knows. Just making sure that at least told my story, and when the time comes, and you know it becomes aware of what's been happening in this country and the rest of the world. um, my testimonies might be used, but today I just kind of want to focus on the perps themselves. I've talked in the past about the perps, but never really um, specifically in one video. As I've mentioned before, there's definitely gang stalking was the first thing I experienced in my targeting. Although I didn't know it was called gang stalking, it was happening a while. It became very obvious when in 2019, but it was happening prior to that. But wasn't really aware of it as much as until I came to New York, and when I kind of separated myself from my other distraction, I was able to be more aware of what's going on in my surroundings. And that's when I noticed the the obvious following, the obvious gaslighting, the obvious you know community harassment became very much obvious. Prior to that, I think I was just so focused on other things in my life than to looking at people just following me. I just I wasn't that aware of my surrounding. But when I was able to separate myself from some other toxic things in my life and move to a different city, um, just because I wasn't sure what was going on with my my friends and the close people around me and my prior work. I came to a place here in New York where I was like, okay, it's time to kind of fresh start, and moved away from all my prior distraction, and that's when I was more aware, because all those distractions were not in my mind anymore, and I was able to see be aware of my surrounding, and things became more obvious. Being in a city with a lot of people around, it just becomes more obvious. So the gang stalking, the community harassment, the different type of gaslighting, the noise campaigns, all of that just amplified and were more obvious. Especially in summer of 2019, where it was just like building up, where the noise campaign, just random people following me to the whole, like, you know to follow me to coffee shops and just staring at me, making sure that I notice them watching me, which is part of the gang stalking. It's just more of them trying to make you aware that you're being, you know, harassed over something, and you being sensitized by it, being aware. So now every time you go somewhere, you can expect it. Um, but yeah, so that happened in early on before the V2K. When that happened, um, I obviously wasn't sure what was going on. Trying to understand. Came, didn't know what exactly was happening. I thought it was somehow related to my prior employment, um, which probably had links, but I didn't know it was such a organized and a you know I didn't know it was something that was nationwide, actually global. This tactic, and it was something with bigger purpose than just an employer. Although I still believe that they put me on that list, but I think this list is something much bigger. um and after watching and being aware, which I got aware of this whole targeting individual thing in like in June of this year. Well, so almost a little less than a year after my targeting, that's when I figured there was actually a whole program set for that, and watched all the different testimonies. I was able to relate all the step by step. I even even finding out that some of those this mass shooting were caused by targeted individuals that just kind of broke and um, just decided to just do something, and went too far. And listen to their testimony, it was almost scary. It was weird. When I found that out, it was just one side was just okay. I felt okay. I'm not alone. This is happening to other people. But two, I was like, damn, this is something much bigger. It's just scarier, and it's even worse than what I thought. Um, so especially seeing who you know to who is happening to I mean, just this everybody. And So now that I'm aware, I remember when I was trying to rationalize with people, just asking why you don't, just making no sense to it, trying to talk to them. And like I said, I'm currently living in this townhouse. There's about 14 people living here. This is a place where you just rent a room. And this, remind you, this is in New York, um, post Corona, not post, during Corona pandemic. So let's just say there was there were a lot of empty rooms, and then I moved here, and I'm sure I mean, they filled everybody here. They filled the rooms with perps. So my current roommates are, most of them are part of it, and gang stalkers and perps, or whatever tactical term they use. Um, but I've always wondered. Uh, so I'm in my past video, I talked about how the V2K and those perps and this gang stalking works hands in hand. Um, and when they do the script, obviously the V2K does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to my targeting, meaning they're the one doing most of the psychological torture. I would say the gang stalking on its own never really impacted me that much. It's just because when you're being gaslighted, you can fall for it, but it's almost too ridiculous to even to take. It's, like I keep saying, they sound like clowns, meaning it's just ridiculous. It's no rationale behind it. It's just pure clownness, and I don't mean it to kind of like you know the, I understand it can get to somebody and push somebody to really harm themselves, but to me it was just like the way I looked at it is just okay. This is ridiculous. I'm not. But I can see that how gang stalking on its own can be very, very destructive. Um, and I understand that there's a lot of target individual that ended up losing it and decide to take their own life because of just gang stalking, just because constant gaslighting. That's what gaslighting does. It pushes somebody to doubt themselves and feel like they're going crazy, and it's meant to But to me, when it was just gaslighting from external, gang stalker, it just I was like, okay, I'm gonna show you. I can. It just made me want to work harder on myself, just kind of prove them wrong. That's the way I'm wired, where I'm more refined. But I could see I was also perturbed, and I can see, especially if you're somebody who's a social being, and you find out that everybody around you just wants you to. It's definitely you know destructive. But what's really doing the job right now is the V2K, but it works hand in hand with the gang stalking. And what it does to me is just makes me, I'm angry, and seeing them and seeing how deluded they are, just kind of, um, I'm like, I know you live in a virtual reality, meaning you think this is not real, but I have, I can defend myself. But in this video, I just want to talk about how they are able to delude themselves. Like it's whole, so it's all one about deception, but they know it's a deception. But how can somebody who do what they're doing, you know, I won't say 24/7, but most of the time, knowing the truth, but able to create this reality, and I would say that it's all about self-delusion. One can delude themselves into anything. So for me, with my targeting, and like you say, it works with the V2K, and the V2K is the more sci-fi fiction part of my targeting. The things I say, even saying it out loud, just it's just it sounds so bizarre, but it's the reality I live in, and it's something I had to kind of accept and be comfortable to talk about it because it sounds crazy. It sounds like it's a sci-fi thing, but a world that's been going on for a while, and then now I'm aware with it because I'm a target individual. And this the perps are currently working hands in hand with the V2K, meaning they delude themselves into what narrative they're trying to bring in my head. All right, one they start with there's a whole narrative, right, of me being this guy who victimized so many people, right? Um, the all the women are victimized, and in my mind, as if I always at first that was my first before I knew it was just gaslighting of some sort. Is well, where are those victims? You say I did this and that. Where are they? Let's have them come and and there's no answer to that. I even tried to like reach out to people, thinking just I was. I mean, at that point, I was about to become a clown. Like they just fall for it. Um, and they try to use those narratives, the people victimized, and then they also try to talk about things I've done when I was a middle schooler, a barely 14-year-old middle schooler. This embarrassing moment in my life, I can't deny that, but especially when I was a kid, and things you might have forgotten as a kid, as I mean, as a middle schooler, uh, somebody who just became a teen, and done some silly dumb things, and trying to use that and trying to exaggerate things that are already embarrassing, but trying to exaggerate to create this more grotesque narrative. And it's just like, okay, I know I know this is an embarrassing moment, but I know how to take that. It's just kids do a lot of dumb things, and you become an adult and you don't even. But trying to use that and it's not only silly. It's just it makes no sense. The rationale is still confusing. But on top of that, right? I talked about the intrusive thoughts. I talk about the stuff they put in my head, and they try to grasp it as reality. And we all actually, if anybody knows more that this is not the truth, it's them. But they have deluded themselves into believing that I'm gonna accept that. And it's always weird when I look at them and they go through they have these scripts of terms they say, the triggers, I guess, that are as simplistic as it gets. I guess it's because everybody can use it and it's not complicated. And they say that, and when they say that in my face, it's just, you look just like a clown. And they always try to present themselves as this like radical activist, feminism, whatever BS they try to use. And it's just obvious because you're just trying to play a role. I get it. And especially when I see what you guys do to different people, different target individuals that range from single mothers to young women to and the things that are even per se even more grotesque because they are even more vulnerable. um It's just, I understand. And you're gonna continue to play your role, and I'm gonna continue to ridicule you in front of like um. So they are able to delude themselves still, and it's easier to delude yourself when you have a good ecosystem around you that keeps playing that narrative, and they're able to play it. With all known people who are able to just like create their own little lies and live by their lies and try to. Now imagine if you are well supported in those delusion by other people, and it's a global thing. So imagine gaslighting at a on steroid with unlimited funds, um, and so you can tell yourself all kind of BS, and and almost believe it yourself. And at first I was very agitated. Early on, I was like, I was arguing back and forth. And mind you, this is people that are outside screaming it, or people my neighbors, and me just trying to like just trying to rationally talk, and at this point now I'm like, okay, you just trying to gaslight me. That's why you do the noise campaign. When this happens in my head, you try to like create a whole different narrative, exaggerate things, perceptions change. You work with the V2K. I get it. It's a gaslighting of some sort. That is, I mean, gaslighting is like it's a light wordage for what they're doing, because the V2K does actually do more than just gaslighting. They really try to create a persona in your head, trying to change who you are, and create this new persona. And what happens is the gang stalker, um, the perps, um, try to make you think like this is you, and by gaslighting it, and whatever ridiculous V2K rationale that's trying to make you change your thought process. They trying to jump in, and mind you, they can say anything, and the V2K will try to make you think a way that to rationalize it, um, and it's just a tactic of just self delusion. Um, and they try to kind of this different ways of deceptions. The sorry, the different type of so they use deceptions. They use slander, defamations, half truths. They try to present themselves as people that look at me. I'm very like put together. I'm a nice, I'm a sensible individual. I'm a smart person. But it's just, I understand this is not your casual just gaslighting. This is a global level program. So anybody, you have doctors, you have young professionals, older professionals, all kind of people. And if at this point you just gotta be sure of, like I keep saying, be sure who you are and understand what's happening. Even if your state of mind is not in agreement, understand this. For me, it's a constant mind manipulation. This is a program that plays with somebody that controls, manipulate your brain state via the V2K slash synthetic telepathy, a technology that sounds so like a sci-fi movie, but are used on everyday civilians. And that's and having that, plus having a ecosystem of people who try to create this facade, this persona in you, and gaslighting you in different ways. Really, just is just the end result is just really to destroy you, and you becoming completely disoriented and almost forget who you are, and submit to this persona they're trying to create. Um, and in regard of the perps, their tactic is just keep self delusion. Make myself believe it, make myself only see the thing they put in the video, to try to create that narrative often enough. And you know, and mind you, I am far from a saint. I'm not perfect, but I know I'm not what they're trying to put in my head. I know there's nobody that is not coercing to believing, coercing to it, would wish me to wish me anything bad. But I understand this program does that. Even perfect individual, you know, you can be almost this program will make everybody around you um start hating you, or and this is based on slander, defamations in different ways. They can just deception. um and um and when I look at the perps, at first I used to really react to perps, because looking at an individual, let's say you see a happy family, or they look, which a mother with her kids, a father with, like people that you might be respecting, and start like using the script saying die or something, um you start feeling a way, just okay, wow, if they hate me, that's some, what the hell, maybe I am something that they're trying to portray. But the truth is, this is a global thing. It's just huge, and it's organized in a way that's that just meant to ruin regular civilians, unless you as this influencer or somebody with power. You are, this helicopters following you. This is, uh, to me, I think this is definitely governmental sponsored and globally sponsored. I travel to countries in Africa, and it's same routine. And so this is something that is so much beyond, just what I know. Is something that's globally done. um but when I see these people, and I have to live with them, I have to interact with them, and I see the way they do it is just pure delusion. At first, they delude themselves, and sometimes I see some that just, yeah, they actually own up to where they are, and but they still have no, those are the people. I'm not gonna say I respect them more, but I'm gonna say at least you are what you are. You accept that this is a program you're in, and where they're doing that to you, and others are still trying to maintain their, like, the facade of, like, oh, like those are just like, just clowns. So some just like own up to what they are, and and you see when you talk to them, they're like, or when they like do their whole noise campaign, you see them as what they are, and they accept who they are. They know this is a program. They like this, for some reason, I can not respect what they're doing. Is disgusting, is diabolic, but they own it. Others are trying to still maintain the facade of like this good person, and as they put in intrusive thoughts, one can just laugh about it. It's like, yeah, somebody will act shocked. Oh my god, um, when they know that they're the one putting this nasty thought in my head. Um, so m- most of my perps, the ones that are in my surroundings, are just definitely trying to create some kind of facade, and trying to act like, like, there's some kind of like, you know good people, like, I understand you guys do terrible things at a level that, and you are, trying to present yourself as normal everyday citizen, but you're just something just disgusting, and what you're doing is disgusting, and you probably will continue to do it, because this it's a program that's been going on for years and decades. um and Yeah, so I want to end this video with saying that they just, it's all about self delusion, and create a narrative that just kind of uh, that delude themselves into this facade, and this narrative they put in you, in order to continue what they're doing and to keep the aggression, quote unquote, the remote aggression towards you, and try to make them, because it's an act. How are you gonna act a certain way? How are you gonna act some like you hate somebody if you don't find a way to put, to make yourself believe that, this person is this person when you barely know that person in reality. So you find a way to delude yourself in believing it and make a reality of your own, just so you can garnish that anger. Like, oh, so you will go with whatever BS they put in your head, whatever narrative or whatever this person might have done when he was a kid, or whatever you can, anything that can help just garnish the anger. However it comes in, whatever, just go with it and find that anger in you and just be, just harass somebody, insult them, say whatever you want to say, and that's how they feed their motivation. And the truth is there's incentives, right? There's in the financial or other incentive involved, and um, my goal right now is just not to feed off that. They know they're acting like clowns. It's just obvious. Um, but my goal is just maintain my cool. I know other target individuals have lashed out and gone too far, and you know, thought that lashing out was going to be the best thing in order to, because at the end, the gaslighting is one. The goal of gaslighting is to push somebody to suicide or murder. That's that. Um, and this is a type of psychological torture which consists of gaslighting. Um, and some target individuals have gone that route, and this is terrible because I think they end up harming people that had nothing to do with it. So I'm gonna, for me, just remember that justice will be done. It's not my place to play God, and let you know let justice happen. And I do strongly believe that there will be a justice of some sort. But in the meantime, I need to maintain my strength, stay strong, don't lose myself, and continue to fight. This psychological warfare that's happening in me. That's being used that's being you know I'm by these tools that are putting things in my head, and the people around me that are playing this role in order for me to fall for it. Um, stay strong for it. Stay and maintain my cool. Find ways to just circumvent this. So this is a long video. I think it was just more of a ranting than a testimony. But I just want to say, stay strong. I'm trying to practice what I'm preaching, and know that justice will be done. It could be during a lifetime, it could be after a life, but just know it will happen. Just know I know it, and it's weird. I've never been the most spiritual, but I always been spiritual, but never been the most. But I can feel it. I believe it. I know justice will be done. In the meantime, just focus on you and focus on staying strong, and know that justice will be done for not only what they've done to you, what they're doing to us, to me, but what to all the people that are no longer here because of this program. And that all the money that was made, all the all these resources that was utilized, and people took advantages of those resources. There'll be justice for it. So God bless you, you guys, and stay strong. Thank you.